All right, everybody. It's Burma Kearns, UFC Corner. We have our special guest today is Grandmaster Zuffi Ahmed. If you name it in the business, let me tell you something. This man has done it. He comes from humble beginnings because he came all the way over from the Middle East, from Pakistan.
Yeah, Pakistan,
Pakistan. Now, Master Zuffi,
southeast,
Southeast
southeast.
Pakistan. We've known each other for a long time, and I appreciate you coming on because I know you're busy, and I want to share with people. Um, I want to share with people some of your experience. Now, if memory serves me correctly, you were pretty much all Middle Eastern champion, correct? And
South Asian, South
South,
Asian,
and that
South
was in
Asian.
full contact, correct?
There was Bando, Burmese Bando,
Burmese
uh,
Bond.
and open circuit also. Uh, the circuit in Malaysia. It's called Kijo Hanan KBI Karate Budokan International and Burmese Bando and several different open tournaments.
Now, educate the viewers about Burmese Bondo because I've read a lot about it over the
Yeah.
years, and it was kind of and if we look back, it was kind of originally a very MMA style, wasn't it?
Yes. So Bando, the modern Bando is a let's say when you say kung fu has many systems in it. You got uh, all different type of animal systems, weapon system, combative system. Bando is the same thing. In Bando we have Letway. Letway is the bare knuckle kickboxing, which is even considered predecessor for Muay Thai. We have Burmese Naban, which is the Burmese wrestling. We have Banshe. We have Taing. We have Punjilan, the monk system. So there are many subsystems of Bando. So Bando is a big like way of the discipline. It's more of a modern. When I say modern, it's not like 10 years. It's like a couple of 100 years old terminology. But my teacher, Great Grandmaster M.A. Thai, Mong Ima Thai, or now in Pakistan, Muhammad Ashraf Thai, he moved from Burma to East Pakistan, which is Bangladesh now. He was a refugee. And then he moved to Pakistan in 1969 and he started teaching Burmese martial arts and the Bando system. And he had all different versions bare knuckle fighting, the weapon art, not much of a grappling, but a lot of clinching and throwing, but not wrestling on the floor. And then the animal systems. So I started training with him in 1974, and in 1975, in one and a half year, I was the junior champion. Now, when I say junior champion, there were no kids in that, so it's all teen and adults. I was the second kid that he took in, and so it was bare knuckle, it was full body contact, clinching and throws and knees and elbows and headbutts and all the cool stuff, which I hate. I don't like it, And anyway, that's the background. And then kushti is wrestling, Pakistani wrestling. So as a matter of fact, historical fact that Grandmaster Thai, there was a big match in 1976 between Antonio Inoki, the godfather of Japanese martial arts, and Akram. Akram, the wrestler, Pahalwan, called Pahalwan in Pakistan. They had a first MMA. It was not called MMA. It was called freestyle fighting, and it's on
Yeah.
YouTube also. Antonio versus Akram. What is it? Anoki versus Akram on YouTube. So I was the undercard, little kid undercard in that. There were like 50, 60,000 people in the national stadium. So that film is still on YouTube. Antonio Anoki versus Akram. So Grandmaster Tai taught Akram the striking arts. He was a wrestler and he fought Anoki. So to me, MMA, mixed martial arts, freestyle martial arts, the first time I saw an armbar was in 1976. So it's pretty cool. So yes, that's my background, Burmese Bando.
That's it's amazing because I've read up on that. So it started in Burma pretty much, and then kind of moved over, right?
So it started most of it started in the Yunnan area in Burma, Thailand, China, and India, and then monks. There were many monks who traveled to Thailand, China, Burma, Tibet, from India, and then they had their own military arts at the time. So the bare knuckle boxing, Lethwei and Naban, which was taken from India, the Indian wrestling incorporated with the Burmese martial arts, some of the Tibetan martial arts, the martial arts of China and India. They what I mean, this we're talking thousands of years ago. That's
Thousands.
what Burma got their martial arts started, and there are many tribes in Burma, over 500 tribes, and each tribe has their own specialty. Each tribe does their own martial arts.
It's,
So
it's, it's fascinating to me, and I appreciate the history lesson because I think people almost forget that. If you see like, what's the movie with DiCaprio about when they, gangs of New York.
yeah,
Everybody kind of had like people forget that even the American Indians here had their own system, right? They
yes,
had their own. It was handed down. Each tribe had a different system. Irish, they had Irish stick fighting. I mean, I've
yep,
seen stuff like that. Then, and you and I are very big fans, and I know you were because we've discussed it. Savat, Savat,
oh, yeah,
pretty much people didn't realize how brutal Savat was.
yep.
I mean,
Still is, yep.
still is, and unfortunately, we lost Grandmaster Salim Alessi not recently to COVID. He just died.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
He
my,
died about 6 months ago.
oh,
When you look at all that, like when people like talk about Bruce's sidekick was actually from Sabat. It was a chasse. That's what he used to do. That rising knee, and I love when you just brought up the concept. Back in the day before MMA, it was freestyle fighting. Bruce Lee was the first kind of freestyle on camera fighting. It was very much more freestyle. And I've seen Bondo and a lot of the Burmese stuff, and it's very indicative, like you said, of Muay Thai. It was a predecessor of Muay Thai, and especially Muay Brong versus Muay Chalat, and then you see like Sit Yatong is much more Muay Chalat, Mark Delagrati and his people, and out of Yatong, very more Muay Chalat, the intelligent fighter, where they blend this, that, and the other thing. That was one of the things that Mark's always good at is blending. Same thing that because Mark learned from Guy Chase, who I learned from Mark Delagrati, and I learned from Guy Chase, and he combined a lot of different elements to it. Like I know you probably know who it is now. I know there's another circuit besides UFC, and I think it's out in more Southeast Asia where you have all of the Filipinos and Indonesian fighters coming out, and you see things that you're like, where is this?
one championship.
One championship.
Just now, I just was on the Facebook. What's his name? The gentleman who owns one championship. I don't remember his name. He is just now commissioned to run 52 fights in Lumpini,
Nice.
and he is putting over $100 million of his own money into promotion of Muay Thai. And 2 years ago, approximately, there's a gentleman named Patrick Velor Rivera.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick. So Patrick came to Houston, and he had a Muay Thai seminar and business seminar. So I was the keynote speaker, and I shared with all my participants that Muay Thai is going to blow up, and it is coming. It is getting bigger and bigger.
I agree with you because I just heard through the grapevine about 6 months ago that the Rangers are now using it.
It's
And
one of the best striking arts.
I think the combination of all of it, it's like, BJJ has its place, right? BJJ has its place. And I know for years you've said it, and I've said it too, if you have the boxer against the wrestler, well, if the wrestler doesn't cut down that space, he's going to get beat to death. But once the wrestler gets on the ground, so it's a very, I don't think there's anything better than anything, one thing than the other. Like I've tried BJJ a couple times. It just doesn't take with me because I'm a striker. I'm a banger. And if I get on the ground, I'm either going to break your nuts or stick my fingers in your eye. I'm gonna go from Tuhan Leo Gahe. I'm gonna go old school. I'm gonna go Duma. I'm gonna start sticking my thing in your eye, rip your nuts. I don't care. Plus I've got a background in small circle jiu-jitsu, so I'll go after the joint locks, the wrist locks, the thumb locks.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I both know that this is one of the best breaks, right? Pull the pinky back right to the ulnar nerve.
Yeah. Biting is also very biting is also very practical.
Well, I remember this. I'll share this story with you. I brought Tuhan Gahe out here years ago in 2002, and this is when the Dog Brothers blew up, right? Remember the Dog Brothers? So Crafty Dog had come out. Now BJJ was exploding. Gracie was fine. I love the Gracies. They're friends, the whole bit. But they're all strikers too. I mean, look at Henzo. Henzo and Hickson are some of the best strikers on the planet. And I think you got to have both. So it was funny because now BJJ blew up, and I think now the Dog Brothers realized there was value in grappling. So they're on the beach in the Philippines, and Tuan tells us a story when there's like 30 of us at the seminar at lunch. He goes, "You guys," and this is 2002. He says, "You guys know Mark Denny, Crafty Dog?" "Oh yeah, we know him." So Mark Denny come out to the Philippines. He goes, "Tuhan," he goes, "What do you do if I, sit in your chest and get you in the mount?" He goes, "Come, you sit to my chest. Come." He goes, "Mark Denny, sit to my chest. You go to punch me in the face. I take my finger, I shove it right up his ass." He flipped on me. He comes back on me. He goes to do it again. I take my empty palm. I smash him in the femoral artery. He flip off me. He do it again. He goes, "See?" He goes, "Good sport. Sometimes combat different."
Yep.
Because it is.
Yep.
I mean, I read articles on some people during like Civil War, going back to biting, Civil War. And he's like, "Yeah, I lost my weapon. I bit this guy so hard in the nose."
Yep.
And I love what's his name? Burton Richardson. I saw a video on him on Facebook not long ago. He's grappling with somebody, a high-level BJJ guy, and he had an orange gun on him. The guy took side control. And he went, "Shit." I'm like, you gotta be. I think everything fits the need where it is. So I agree with the Gracies. Yeah, most fights end up on the ground, but in combat, I'm not going to the ground. No way. I'm going to stay on my feet as long as possible, because what I'm concerned about is not the guy, as you know, because you're in those type of odds. I'm not concerned about the guy that I'm on the ground with. I'm concerned about his buddy kicking me in the face or stabbing me, or
like my teacher, great grandmaster Dr. Mong Ji, states that there's a Burmese saying: "No one nation has the monopoly over sunlight. No one system has the truth over combat."
Yeah.
Every system has the truth. Every system is a piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. I know the Gracies are big on, like, I've got Hickson's voice right here. I mean, he's like one of the best strikers on the planet. He talks about.
What book is that? I've never seen that.
Oh, this is a new one. Breathe by Hickson.
Okay. Where do you get it from?
Scott O'Keefe. Sheehan O'Keefe gave it to me.
Okay.
O'Keefe.
Scott O'Keefe is a good man.
Yeah, I still see him at least once a month. I go down to New York. So I think everything has. The point of the matter is everything has its value, right? Everything has its value.
Yeah.
And I'm good friends with Matt Thornton, and obviously, Professor Steve Whittier, who's SBG, and he's my coach. And I said, everything, whatever works, whatever works for you. It's almost like Bruce said, absorb what's useful. Now, I want to jump back in history a little bit. So you had a good life in Pakistan, didn't you? You were living a good life.
Very good life.
A friend of yours, when you were barely 20?
Well, say it again.
When you were barely 20, a friend of yours, right? Was it a friend of yours who talked you into coming to New York when you were barely 20 years old?
So that, and also I got my sister, when she migrated to United States, she married my brother-in-law, who was a resident, who was a citizen of the United States. So they sponsored me in 1977, 78. So my papers for my sponsorship for a green card came in 1983 or 84. And I have many friends who came to school here, and I was getting a little trouble in Pakistan, really rowdy, got into a little trouble. And my parents said, you need to get out of here. And then all my friends were coming to America, and I'm a fan of American martial arts. So I used to read Official Karate Magazine. I used to read, Black Belt Magazine since 1974. And my dream was to especially come to Texas, because the badass fighters were in Texas, and I wanted to be part of this Texas scene. And in 1985, I migrated. I said goodbye to my family and friends and students, which I still have, and I migrated to the United States. Lucky man.
Lucky man. Now, but it wasn't so simple, was it? Let's not glaze it over, sir. I've known you for 12 years now. You came to New York. Your friend was with the girl. She kind of and it kind of all went sideways. And I think it was Doc who convinced you to move to Texas, right? Because it was too cold up in New York.
Well, no, but not Doc. Not I moved. I moved to New York. My sister, my brother was leaving back. They were going back to Pakistan because he was in a State Department service, and he had a assignment there. So um, I didn't know anybody in New York, and it was getting cold, and it was very what a cultural difference
Yeah.
between Karachi and New York. In many ways, same. In many ways, very different. So I have friends in Texas. So they said, "Why don't you come to Texas?" And then I got my admission in San Jacinto College here, and I packed up and flew down to Houston, Texas.
I appreciate that. Now we're going to jump forward. You have how many schools now?
So worldwide, we have over 50 affiliate and licensed schools. Many still in Pakistan. I have 9 in the Houston area. We have 3 in the Connecticut area. We have affiliates in UK. We have affiliates in Canada. We have Germany, associates in Germany. So all over, about 50 plus that I share my system, my martial arts, my Bushiban system, all my business practices with them.
Now let's jump backwards a second. But it didn't start so easy because I remember you telling me, was it called the green paper when you got your first job?
The green sheet.
Green sheet.
So I'm sitting in my class. I'm sitting in my English class, and my buddy comes in,
What's your age now? 25?
23, 23, 23 years of age. This is early 1985. No, October 1985. So my buddy comes in and he said, "Hey man, do you see this green sheet?" Because we were students, so we needed part-time jobs, and I was working in a grocery store as a stock boy and cleaning and all this stuff. And he said, "Karate instructor needed."
Now the green sheet was looking almost like the original Craigslist, right? Looking for jobs.
Craigslist, yeah, that was a green sheet. You want to sell something, you want to invite somebody, want to hire somebody or discount. It's still around, green sheet. So it's like physical newspaper Craigslist. So my friend brought it. He said, "Hey, you might want to call it. You're a martial artist." So I said, "Okay." So after class at about 3 o'clock, I made this call, and it was called for an organization called Dance Tree Incorporated, Dance Tree. They used to send instructors to all the daycares for tap, ballet, and jazz teaching. So I spoke to the lady, Mary Lee Kennedy, lovely lady, love her to death. And she was interviewing. They wanted to start a karate program as part of the Dance Street program people to go teach in daycares. So she had a bunch of interviews. I was like a nobody 23-year-old kid. I mean, she had even champions from local area. So she's okay, come. I have my interview. It was the Friday that she was doing interview. Bring your resume, bring anything, And I said, okay. So I got there. There were like 10, 11 guys sitting there already. And my chance came. I go into the office and I got my file, thick file. And she looks at the file and she said, "Oh my goodness, you know, and you want to do this, you should be opening a school yourself." I said, "I'm just a student right now, I came here to finish my education." She's okay, okay, and we'll let you know. So on the week after, I got a call, come in, we want to do another interview, we want to talk to you again. So she had her group, and she sat me down. She said, "Ms. Zuffi, we have chosen you. Your resume is amazing. Your credentials amazing, and you should open your own school one day." And I already had that in my mind. I had schools in Pakistan. I still had schools in Pakistan. And when I came, they were running, and I handed over to my student. And so I started teaching for Dance Tree Incorporated. I started with 2 daycares, 3 daycares, 10 daycares, and eventually I hired many, many other instructors, and we got into over 50 daycares in the greater Houston area. So that was the story of starting teaching in. Now I was teaching privately. I had a couple of students in my neighborhood, where the apartment I used to live in. So I had a couple of guys. They would Fort Dan in Taekwondo, and his son. They would come and train with me. We'd train on a little grassy area in front of my apartment complex. We'd go jogging, and they wanted to learn the system which I was teaching. So, but officially starting as a profession, I started teaching in daycares in 86, 85, 86.
So what I find amazing is when, you know, how old are you today? Because you look about
I'm
40,
60.
60. Okay. So he's 60. He comes here. I'm 56. And when you think about our generation, right? You and I grew up similar, except you're in one country, I'm in this country. Rough. We had a
Yeah,
rough. Okay. You know my story. Lost my dad. The whole bit picked on. That's how I got martial arts, and then spent 44 years in and out of martial arts and strength training. The whole bit. Never expected to do this. You look at some of the younger culture now coming up, and it kind of drives you crazy, right? The 20s and the 30s, they don't want to work.
yeah,
It's like if you, like, I love Stallone has a great 10-minute clip, and he says, just look at him. Dreams are free. Dreams are free. You had a dream, the whole big thing, like, you know, my story. I've got this book. I got the new book out here. There's light in the tunnel about depression, and now mental illness is off the chart. And me personally, I know for a fact, people say, "Oh, I'm so sorry you lost your dad." And I'm like, look, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have gotten martial arts. I wouldn't have gotten strength training. I wouldn't have got my degree in exercise physiology. I wouldn't be who I am. So sorry you got divorced. Well, you know what? If that didn't happen, guess what? I wouldn't have fallen into a depression. Wouldn't have tried to commit suicide twice in 2019. Wouldn't have wrote a book. And now look, mental illness is off the chart. What helped build me back besides going to McLean Hospital? My martial art principles, right? Self-control, effort, etiquette, integrity, honor. And I think when you look at it, I go, if children are not, even adults, if children are not going to get into some organized sports, and now organized sports, as you know, has its own problems, right? I mean, it's not like, oh, we don't keep score. I'm like, look, there's winners and losers. That's the fact. That's what happens in life. And I believe in what, like, I forget who said the quote. There are winners and losers. I think it was Les Brown. And there are people who have not been taught how to win. There's also people who have not been taught how to lose. And you know what? Losing is part of life. Disappointment is part of life. Life, as you know it, here in Pakistan, you're from Pakistan. Life is hard over there.
yeah. It's tough.
I got people working with me from Pakistan on this new project with the TED Talk I'm working on, that I'm getting on. I paid a lot of money for this woman, Salima Fellini, who's been through a ton of stuff.
Okay.
I spent her a lot of money. She's got one bestseller. She's been on TEDx twice, and she hit rock bottom just like me. And you have to take the shot. And you and I believe, and I think younger people sometimes are in this mindset, I want it handed to me. It isn't handed to you, man. Nobody's going to say, hey, I forget who the speaker was. Nobody's going to say, hey, yeah, that innovation you want, yeah, go do it. Nobody's going to say, yeah, that relationship you want, that business you want, go. Nobody's going to say that. You're going to believe in you. And you have to believe in you even when people doubt you, even when you doubt yourself. As we call it on this arm, VPP, vision, passion, perseverance. VPP. You got to have VPP. You can have the vision, you can have the passion, but if you don't have the perseverance, if you don't have the tenacity, if you don't have the grit for the grind, you're going to be run over. And that's just the way it is.
Definitely.
Life, look at, you're from Pakistan, and I know you have plenty of friends over there. How hard is life over there? Hard.
Right now, more than half of Pakistan is underwater, floods. People do not have food to eat, shelter. So we are trying to help as much as we can. But life goes on, and those same people still have a smile on their face. The flooding which is happening in Pakistan. I don't know if you're aware of that. Area as big as Texas is underwater, and devastation. So, but faith and belief, your values, your faith, your belief, and every morning we must get up and say, I believe in myself. I believe in myself.
My company is always at your disposal. So anytime, let me know if I can help over there too, any way I can. I'll chime in with anything I can.
I appreciate it.
Anytime. Look, you know what? This is the big thing I always say. I didn't know my father long. He died at 48, but he taught me a lot. And I remember being in my driveway, being 6 years old. Now, this was during, you probably don't know this, this was during busing in the 70s. So busing was, they were forcing blacks and Hispanics to get on the same bus with whites, go to different schools. Okay, because we were very similar, like other countries. Whites lived here, blacks lived, that's how it worked. And then they force people together,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which is very explosive, okay? And I remember my father saying to me, I don't care what race, I don't care what religion, I don't care what color, I don't care who you are when you're moving next door. And he told me two things. I'll never forget this. As long as you keep your home up and your kids are respectful, you're okay with me. And my mother was the same way. God rest her soul. She died of COVID back in 2020. But my parents never saw color. Never saw color. Like when we were on the anniversary of 9/11, when 9/11 happened, I reached out to friends of mine that were Muslims. I'm like, you okay? I'm like, because a Muslim does not believe in this the way the other ones think. The way I understand the jihad is the struggle for life.
Yep.
Same as everybody.
Yep.
Are you, I'm trying to remember, are you Muslim or Catholic? I think you're Muslim, right?
I'm Muslim. I'm Muslim.
So that's the way it was explained to me. It's the struggle for life. It's just like the Catholics who go too far to the right. It's like, that's not what it's about. You know, Jesus said, thou shalt not kill, not force religion, you know? So I have a hard time with that whole aspect. I go, it doesn't matter if you're in Pakistan, it doesn't matter if here, wherever, who cares? They're human beings. At the end of the day, we're human beings. That's why I look at martial art training, kids, adults, whatever it is. I love the quote that I heard from LaValle. I think I've heard it from you before too. Cradle to grave. Have them start in the school, go all the way to the end. Because one thing I learned from Charlie, I don't know if you remember Charlie Matera. Charlie Matera and Paul Taylor were my first Kempo instructors. My first. And I'm still friendly with Charlie. I haven't talked to him in years. But talk about a memory. Like, I pride myself on my mother's memory because I have a wicked memory. I'm like an elephant. I walked in Charlie's school 2009, okay, in Las Vegas. I forget how many schools he has now. It's United Studios for Self-Defense. He had not seen me since 1984. You got your black belt on this date. You hung out with this guy, and he goes, you are a United Studios success story. I'm like, he's right, I am. Because what people don't realize, you can go into sports and have some natural talent. And if a coach doesn't see that, or what if you don't have natural talent? What we find, and you've seen this probably more than times again, what we find is more people end up gravitating towards martial arts that don't have a lot of talent, inherent talent. You know, I always tell people, one of the big things I tell people, I go, athletes are not born. They're forged in fire. It's hard work. People don't realize Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. His brother used to beat him at one-on-one in the driveway, and he hated it. Hated it. You know, repetition. One of the biggest concepts I learned from martial arts is repetition. That commitment, consistency, and the big D, discipline.
Mindful repetition. So the cradle to cradle was my seminar I did for EFC many years ago. The concept of cradle to cradle, not cradle to grave. That martial artists, our mission is when we start the martial arts, from interest to commitment to love, and then generational passing, legacy passing. So don't take it to your grave, take it to your generation.
Yeah. My daughters, as you know, trained with me for years. I have photos of them wrestling with fighters when they were like 2 years old at my house when I was training all the UFC fighters with Kenny Floyd and Marcus Davis. They used to watch me out to the ring, you know, the whole bit. That's why when women got involved in UFC, people were like, oh, that's brutal. I go, women fight, you know?
Oh, yeah.
My girlfriend knows the deal. I'm like, you know, she asked me what I'm looking for. I told her my needs, which are simple. I go, here's what I want. I go, when the zombies come, I want you to help me have a sword and go, you take the right, I'll take the left. Whoever comes back with more heads doesn't buy dinner. Right? I don't want your feet going out the window. And you don't want my feet going out the window either. Go, oh, got to escape. I'm like, no, man, we're in battle. Screw it. We're going. You know, we're going. No matter.
Awesome.
I'm like, you know, I got your back, you got my back. Let's just go.
Let's just think the zombies are coming.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm like, they're coming. They're coming. I ain't backing down. Just like, no offense. When he wants me, I'm going down swinging. Yeah. I'm not done yet.
Oh, man, I love you.
Like Zig Ziglar would say, I'm not leaving till my music's out of me.
I love it.
I'm not leaving.
So much passion, so much energy. Love it.
Now, imagine if I drank coffee. Well, I do have to tell everybody, I do blame my good friend, Grandmaster Zuffi Ahmed, for getting me connected. This is your fault.
What did I do?
You don't remember, do you?
Chai?
We're going in your Porsche doing about $1.20 on the Houston Highway. Coach, I only allow myself one chai a day, just one. You want to try? I'm like, okay. I'm like, damn, this is good.
Yep.
Don't
That's
forget.
what I'm bringing, chai.
Don't forget who helps you with your BlackBerry.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That was so awesome. You got such a good memory. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we were out having dinner, having sushi, and you're on your BlackBerry. God damn it! I can't read this font. I can't do this.
see it.
Give me the phone. I fix it. That's it. I'm paying you. You go home. Go home. You're worth it right there. What's your son's name?
Ozzy.
Ozzy, come over here. Coach is my age. He figured this out, and you couldn't do it. That's it. But the one big thing I've always, and I said to you that day, is always respected about you. We walked in, it was around Halloween. You were having a Halloween party. We walked in, we walked by 50 students, and you know their names. And you said, Coach, I'm on the floor. I think you said, isn't it up to 10 hours a week?
Yeah, more.
10 to 50. And we've seen this in the business, right? We have seen this where the instructor gets bigger and they're not spending time on the floor. They have that other instructors doing it.
That's a mistake. In my opinion, it's a mistake.
Well, you said it right to me, and I say this too. Like people say to me, well, you train fighters, you've done this, you've done that, you've got this book. Why are you still doing one-on-ones? Why still you teaching corporate? I go, it keeps me grounded. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Because one thing I respected about Charlie Matera was this. Him and Paul Taylor, when I got my first black belt when I was 17, they said to me, you're always a white belt. That's why it's one of my hashtags. Yeah. And I went, because it's a journey. Yeah. And life's a journey, martial arts is a journey. Yes. And I've always respected you. When I walked in, I go, wow, man, he knows everybody's name.
They're my babies. They're my family. They're my students.
And Master Zuffi, I think that's what's the biggest missing piece sometimes is people do not understand that martial arts is about unity. Martial arts is about family. I love yoga. As you know, I'm a big yoga nut, 14 years now. And you know what? People can be connected in the yoga studio, but when you're sweating and blood and tears on the mat, it's just different.
Different level, whole nother level.
It's HNL.
Beat each other up, choke each other out, drop each other, and then at the end of the day, you're cleaning your gear, you're sitting, you're sweating, you're
exactly.
It's a brotherhood, it's a tribe.
Exactly, it's a tribe. It's like my good friend, Eric. Oh God, what's Eric's last name? I'll just say Eric because he's former Navy intelligence, and with everything going on and not to get political in the world, everybody's so divided. Eric said this to me months ago. He goes, you know what? I've been on so many operations, and we're on the Black Hawk. So you know what he's talking about. Yeah. And we had a liberal, a Republican, a Democrat, black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, and we can all debate politics. But the minute we land, we're operational. We're a team. We're a team. And like my friend Chris Fulmer said, you remember, Chris Fulmer out of Texas. Chris said this right when COVID, as things got nutty. People are forgetting the first line of the Constitution. We the people.
We the people.
And I think one thing I want people to take away from this, I go, look at Master Zuffi, okay? He comes from very, very humble beginnings. Started from nothing, has 9 schools, 50 affiliates. So if you think you can't do it, you're wrong.
It can be done. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
And I think you gave me the phrase years ago. I'm going to give you props for this. I heard you say this. Take impossible, cut it in half. I'm possible. I'm possible, right?
Impossible.
I'm possible. And at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing people have to realize, I go, when you look at, like Master Chris Rappold, Professor Scott O'Keefe, Crew Mark Telegrati, yourself, I had Hanshi Dave Kovar on. When you look at martial artists, there's very, very few martial artists, Professor Steve Whittier, there's very few martial artists that are not passionate. Hanshi Moti aren't passionate about it. It's that, it gives me goosebumps. It's that level of, you got to do it. We just got to do it. Like people see me, I go, look, as you know, I love conditioning. I've been conditioning for years, but my first love was martial arts. Second love is conditioning. Third love is yoga. You could ask me at midnight, let's do martial arts. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's do it. Like when I met and we'll close it up soon. When I met, he's long dead, Shihan, God rest his soul, Shihan Bob Dickey from Kids. I don't think you know him. He was Ketsugo Jiu-Jitsu, big and out here in South Boston. He used to have me come at 5 a.m. because he had a private student at one of the Ys, and I was the uke. That's how I learned.
Wow.
And I was in my 20s. And you know, at 20, you don't want to get up at 5 a.m. to go train. Like,
you're probably going to bed at that time.
I mean, people look at me and you know, I make coffee nervous. I do, and I don't drink any. And you know, people like, you know, I'm in the dating scene for a long time, and you know, now I'm with somebody, and she goes, the first time I went out with him, she's like, I don't know if I can keep up with this guy. And she's 6-7 years younger than me. She goes, he's just like, I'm like, my brain's on fire, just the way it is.
Well, it's your passion, it's your health, it's your lifestyle, it's your work ethic, it's you. That's what Coach Kevin Kearns is all about.
Well,
that's why we love you. That's
I appreciate that. But think about, but I always take a page from people like you, you know, God rest his soul, you know, Miss LaValle, Hanchi, Kovar, and all the other people. It's that community spirit. It's that passion to actually, it's kind of like I say to my coaches, I go, in this business, we are an educator, motivator, inspirator, entertainer, salesperson, vault, because you have to hold their secrets, and psychologist. And it's the same thing for martial arts instructors. You gotta know when to have tough love and kid gloves back and forth. You know, it's coaching, right? Like 15 years ago, I said, I'm no longer a personal trainer. I'm a coach. Just like an instructor. You get invested in people's lives. Now, I have to end with this too. You have a book that came on the market, and I have to get this too. Is that book floating around anywhere?
So I have a book called The Science and Secrets of Becoming a Master Instructor. Okay, Master Martial Arts Instructor. The Science and Secrets of Becoming a Master Martial Arts Instructor.
Science and Secret. Okay, let me write this down. I hope I can.
I'm
going to put it in the chat.
So anybody who is in the professional realm of martial arts, teaching, instructing, there's a lot of information about instructor training. There's some amazing content for instructor training and becoming an instructor. But I know that we have reached a level where there should be content material to take us to the next level, where most of us have reached the level of maturity where, you know, our students, our instructors, are master level instructors, master level coaches. So I wrote this book. It took me about 7 years to write this book, with a lot of research and a lot of insight, a lot of experience, to help, first of all, my organization, my instructors and instructors around the world, to elevate, to rise up whole another level of understanding, maturity, information, content of how to becoming the next level. You know, you're a great instructor. Now you want to step up, go to the next level, master instructor. So anybody, you know, it's on Lulu, Lulu, Lulu.com. And,
Lulu.
You know, Lulu.com. And it's
Lulu?
Lulu, Lulu. And a lot of great martial artists have contributed to this also. You will see some quotes from some of the best martial artists in the world, you know, in this book.
And your school is www.bushiban.com, right?
Bushi, BUSHIBAN, bushiban.com. And if anybody would like to contact me, it's masterzulfi1@gmail.com. Master Zulfi, ZULFI1@gmail.com. Love to, you know, communicate, talk to anybody if you have any questions or just comments. You know, love to help you out, or, you know, get to know you.
Because you are the #1 Master Zuffi. Sir, I appreciate all your time today. Any closing comments? And please, let's talk again. I'd love to come down, do another seminar. And now we have a whole Master Coach program.
Wonderful.
From Kearns. That is pretty intense. And I am putting, just so you know, I haven't announced this yet, but I'm going to announce it. I have filmed all summer brand new 2.0 Burma Kearns basement tapes, 14 new years of content.
Excellent.
Chalk through. Plus, we've got a fit portal. We have a fitness portal where I'm doing corporate stuff. I've got we've got this whole program called Fit to Fight, which
Sure.
is 30 people are allowed in,
Mm-hmm.
6 months. You get me anywhere from there's 13 classes a week. People can go. Plus, we're going to have a cooking class every Friday night, so we're doing that too. It's on Fit Portal. You'll find my link if anybody wants any more information on
That's
that.
awesome. Yeah.
I'd love to come down to Texas again. You know how much I love Houston and your people.
Yep. We'll make that happen. We'll make that happen next year. This year is stacked, and next year we're gonna start, planning maybe.
I had a feeling because when you looked at it, like when the pandemic first hit, all my mentors said, "Oh, we're not going to see a turnaround to first quarter 2022." But when you looked at Booking.com, one of my clients knows the owner. He said to his people, not till first quarter 2023, and I think we're seeing that trend.
Yes.
I mean, we're starting to get there, but like yourself, travel. I mean, they just stopped doing masks not long ago for traveling, and so I think that's good because I've got multiple certifications. I'm supposed to go back to Okinawa. I couldn't do it, and I've held off. And then we're doing this other thing called like a 4-day warrior weekend. So it's a Burma Kearns Reset Warrior Weekend where we're doing fitness, martial arts, nutrition, and yoga and mindset programming all in one.
That'd be fantastic. Maybe we can arrange something next year.
Yeah.
And yep, it's opening up. We're seeing good numbers. We're seeing growth. We're seeing people coming back. Still there. Still some residual. COVID is still there. It's not gone. I just heard 2 of my people got COVID, so it's not gone.
I don't think it's going to go anywhere, and I agree with you. I think we're just going to have to get relaxed. I mean, you've known me for 12 years now. My mother died of COVID in 2020. I was with her for 11 hours, didn't wear a mask, never got it. Then I got it in January of 2021, was down for 5 days. And then I was fine. And then I got vaccinated the whole bit. And then I literally got sick in June, right around my birthday. Some weird virus. It felt like somebody hit me in the side of the head. And then some AFib for no reason. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. And then I got sick again in mid-July. I got the worst sinus infection I've ever had in 15 years.
Wow.
And I couldn't, I didn't sleep for 3 days because I literally was kept dripping coughing. They checked me for COVID 3 times. Thank God I got my homeopath, Dr. Mark McCullough. Goes, you got to go on this, and this. And he told me, he goes, even though you were negative for COVID, he goes, I think you had, these are symptoms from extended COVID.
Yep.
Like heart stuff, this, that, and the other thing. And I've been checked, but it's like, and some of these docs, no offense to the docs, and I went when I had the first AFib, it lasted like 15 minutes at 1 a.m. My doctor's known me for years. He goes, well, I checked your EKG and it's fine. I go, okay. He goes, well, your echo from 14 years ago. I went, 14 years ago? I go, John, I know I won't say his name, John. It was before COVID. He goes, well, I go, what about, and I'm pretty well versed. I go, what about pericarditis and myocarditis? Well, that happens in young men. I happen to be built like a young man. I mean, we've seen athletes that are dying now for weird things. I go, nobody knows the ramifications of this. And the other problem too, besides those ramifications, is the level of mental illness for people being closed off, schools being closed. I mean, think about it. Your school was closed for how many months?
Well, we never closed the evening classes, but our after school was running, and technically we were closed the evening about 5 weeks, and then we started the evening.
5 weeks, and I know you were a big proponent of the whole Zoom and staying open the whole bit.
Yes,
plus,
we did.
Texas governor was way different than many other governors here.
Yes, we relaxed. We had Zoom classes and we had in-house because we have after-school programs, so we had kids all day, and that's why we had to close the evening for a little while, but not long. But I mean, we lost more than half of our members.
Yeah,
so we had to start from scratch.
Same here. 80% of my business overnight, like that in April 2020. I'm like, okay, now what do you do? But you know what? You pull back and you go, let's hunker down and let's do the right thing.
Oh yeah.
So
Massachusetts, it's coming back. It's going to go back. People
better
to integrate, and people want to. And we have our product is something that will never be out of fashion. Will never be out of want and need. Will never be out of style. Will never be. It's a ageless and timeless product.
Let's
if
take
done
that,
right, it'll be there for eternity.
Let's take that to an H&L, because some people will hear product. You're trying to sell them something. I don't think it as a product. I think it as a process. You have as a process for making
process.
what?
It's a service. It's a process you need.
But my point is, I want to put it at a higher level. It's not a product, even though people might see it as that. This is a process. And what's the process? Building healthy people, building healthy does not just body, mind, and spirit. Because you and I both know if it wasn't for martial arts, like it gives me goosebumps, right? If it wasn't for martial arts, never would have saved my life. I tell people martial arts saved my life after my father died. I got picked on every day. I got into martial arts. It built my confidence. The only thing I've used, I've been in one fight in my life. The only thing I've used, and that was 13 years old. The only thing I've ever used getting out of a situation was my martial art brain.
Beautiful.
Because you build the confidence, you build the tenacity, and people kind of know. You've seen it. I bet you've seen fighters go, "Yep, that's a badass," because they have a. It's like Jocko says. He goes, "When we got this new commander." And I'm thinking, oh, we're a bunch of misfits. The other guy was control. He goes, and the first thing the new commander, the guy was like a legend in Navy SEALs. He said to Jocko and his teammates, he goes, "I look forward to working with you." Yeah. Not this is the way we do things.
That's a good leader.
That's what Jocko talks about being a good leader. It's the same thing as an instructor or a coach. And I tell my coaches this: I go, it's not what you want; it's what the client needs, right? And
side by side.
Exactly.
All triangle. It's called a triangle.
Triangle.
Lead, be together, and also follow. Follow to see where they're going, and then correct their course.
I'll end with this, and I appreciate your time. This was a quote from Kurt Pellegrino, Batman, right? So Professor Henzo, Kurt's a purple belt, 2005, and he goes into Henzo's school in Manhattan. And Professor Henzo wipes out multiple black belts in about 30 minutes on the mat. And he goes, Professor, that's unbelievable. And if you know Henzo, this is Henzo. Professor, that was unbelievable. I want to be able to do that. And Henzo is so good at this. He goes, Kurt, let me explain something to you. Don't tell me now, but when you tell me when you get your black belt. In life, you are either the hammer or the nail. Okay? You need to decide which one. Years go by, 5, 6 years, Kurt gets his black belt. He calls Professor Henzo. And Professor Henzo, you know how he is. He's very like this. His mind is unbelievable. He goes, Professor, I got my black belt. He's like, Bond, very good, very good. Kurt, do you remember our conversation? Look, it gives me goosebumps again. Do you remember our conversation? Kurt goes, yes. He goes, so do you want to be the hammer or the nail? The hammer or the nail? Kurt says, I want to be the nail. And Professor says, why? Because the nail makes the hammer look good. So, any closing remarks, Master Zuffi?
Best of luck on your journey. Best of luck on your projects. And thank you so much for thinking of me and having me here. It's been an honor and pleasure.
Good friends are like stars. You might not always see them. Stars with my Boston accent. You might not always see them, but they're always around. So you and I will look forward to seeing you in New Hampshire on the 22nd, correct?
Yes, 22nd. Yep, I'm flying in on the 22nd. 22nd. Yeah, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but yes.
That's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday. I think I'm coming in on a Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday the 22nd. Buzz Durkin's thing starts the 24th, right?
Yes.
So let me know if you're available. What time do you get in on the 22nd?
So I'm going to look at my calendar. I'll text you the time. And
if not Thursday, we'll get together Friday sometime. I'll come up to New Hampshire.
Definitely. They have events going on. So I have I have a seminar on Friday. I have a seminar on Saturday. So I'm teaching two sessions. I'll text you exact timing.
Great.
And where I'm at. Love to see you. And
absolutely.
We have lunch or dinner or something. And
absolutely. And let Master Durkin know I'm coming up. I haven't seen him in forever.
I told him that you'll be coming in, and he's very happy. And
great.
He told me to say hello to you. And it's a big event, WeiQiCon.
Great.
I mean, goodness gracious, like tons and tons of people coming from all over the world.
Yeah, send me the itinerary and that whole thing. I'll look it up. It's WeiQiCon, right?
Yeah, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me tell you exactly. You can log in, and anybody interested, it's called what is it? UECHI-CON-com. WeiQiCon.
Can you forward that to me in a text?
Yes, I will send that to you. As a matter of fact, I'm sending that to you right now. Man, I love this. I love this technology. Did you get anything on your messenger? It's gone.
I got it.
Excellent. Wei Chikon.
I'll post this.
Beautiful.
All right, sir.
Take care, my friend.
Cup. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Cheers.
very much. Take
I'll see
care.
you soon. Thank
Yes.
you, sir.